If the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's. What did you do as a child that made the hours pass like minutes? Herein lies the key to your earthly pursuits. The shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. Children learn by an adult's example, not by their words. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. The greatest tragedy of the family is the unlived lives of the parents. For better to come, good must stand aside. Loneliness does not come from having no people about one, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself, or from holding certain views which others find inadmissible. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Man cannot stand a meaningless life. Where your fear is, there is your task. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. The healthy man does not torture others. Generally it is the tortured who turn into torturers. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. We were born at a given moment, in a given place, and like vintage years of wine, we have the qualities of the year and of the season in which we are born. If you are a gifted person, it doesn't mean you got something. It means you can give something away. Midlife is the time to let go of an overdominant ego, and to contemplate the deeper significance of human existence. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams; who looks inside, awakes. Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. Man needs difficulties, they are necessary for health. Every form of addiction is bad, no matter whether the narcotic is alcohol, morphine, or idealism. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. He who is afraid needs dependence, as a weakened man needs support. In each of us, there is another whom we do not know. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. What we walk away from, shying away from, ostensibly forgetting, is dangerously close to us. And eventually it will return, but with redoubled force. The soul needs your recklessness, not your wisdom. Woe to those who live by examples. There is no life in them. If you live by example, you live the life of that example, but who will live your life but yourself? So live your own life. People grow like plants, some in light, others in shade. There are many who need shade, not light. Shrinking away from death is something unhealthy and abnormal which robs the second half of life of its purpose. Man can endure the hardest trials, if he sees meaning in them. The whole difficulty lies in creating that meaning. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Life really does begin at 40. Up until then, you are just doing research. Most people consider themselves very knowledgeable in psychology for one simple reason: psychology for them comes down to what they know about themselves. The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. Don't rush to help those who haven't asked you to, because not everyone who is drowning needs a hand, some want to drown. We have chosen these quotes from Carl Jung, which we hope will help you understand yourself better. He was one of the first psychologists who introduced the idea of analytical psychology and popularized it to the world. One today is worth two tomorrows. The people who say you can't, and you won't are usually the ones scared that you will. Never expose your next step. Just take the step. A fish with a closed mouth never gets caught. Life will test you, just before it blesses you. You can either be a negative or positive person in life, but only one will get you somewhere. Be careful how you talk to yourself because you are listening. We generate fears while we sit, we overcome them by action. Grind like nobody has your back. The things you say about others say a lot about you. The journey of your success will always begin with the small step of taking a chance. Stop expecting life to be fair, start expecting yourself to be a better player, capable of handling any situation. You can often regret your words, but you will never regret your silence. Nothing is particularly hard if you divide it into small jobs. Embarrassment is the cost of entry. If you aren't willing to look like the foolish beginner, you'll never be the graceful master. The best way to keep one's word is not to give it. The best way to cheer yourself up is to try to cheer someone else up. Set your mind on a definitive goal, and observe how quickly the world stands aside to let you pass. There's no limit to what you can achieve, except that which you place in your mind. Embrace solitude as a time for reflection and self-discovery. Many of the people you told your secret to have already told it to others. If you treat an individual as he is, he will remain how he is. But if you treat him as if he were what he ought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be. Comfort is the enemy of progress. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. You're very hard to control when you're healthy. You're very hard to manipulate when you're clear. You're very hard to influence when you're sovereign. Your direction is more important than your speed. Obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goals. Your goals are the compass that guide you through the storm of life. You spend your first 20 years worrying about what people think about you. You spend your next 20 years swearing that you don't care what people think about you. You spend the next 20 years realizing that they aren't thinking about you. If you stay positive in a negative situation, you win. There are times when you see someone for the last time and don't even realize it. Watch out, you'll never know the true value of the moment, until it becomes a memory. There are two paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. If you want the present to be different from the past, study the past. Don't see anyone as your competition. You don't have the same goals, ambition, or brains. You're not the same. There is no other quality so essential to success of any kind as the quality of perseverance. It overcomes almost everything, even nature. The secret of achievement is to hold the picture of a successful outcome in your mind. Ships don't sink because of the water around them, ships sink because of the water that gets in them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. Find something you love, something you can lean on to, something that would keep you going. You need something to fall back on when you get depressed. What to speak is knowledge, and when to speak is intelligence. The heaviest burden we carry is the weight of our expectations. Spend time with the elderly, their wisdom and experiences are invaluable. Be alone until you're valued. We cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. Just because the past didn't turn out like you wanted it to, doesn't mean your future can't be better than you ever imagined. Accept both compliments and criticism. It takes both sun and rain for a tree to grow. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Don't let new wisdom lead you to condemn yourself over old struggles. Don't let other people's opinions drown out your inner voice. Waiting for change while not doing anything for it is like waiting for the train at a bus stop. Focus on the step in front of you, and not the whole staircase. Your thoughts are like boomerangs. What you pass along to others is what will come back to you.